You know that feeling when your cat finally curls up next to you after ignoring you all day and suddenly the entire world just quiets down? Your breathing slows. Your thoughts stop racing. And for the first time since you woke up, you can actually relax. If you know exactly what I'm talking about, this video is going to make you feel so incredibly seen. Let me ask you something. When your cat knocks your coffee off the counter, makes direct eye contact, and doesn't even flinch, do you get mad, or do you just admire the audacity? If you chose option 2, congratulations. You're about to learn why your brain works the way it does. Here's what nobody tells you about being a cat person. It's not really about personality. It's about how your nervous system processes the world. Some people regulate through activity and engagement. They need external feedback, constant interaction, clear structure. Dogs are perfect for them. They initiate contact, mirror excitement, keep energy moving. But other nervous systems, they regulate through stillness, through predictability, through the complete absence of pressure. A cat doesn't rush toward you to discharge energy. It settles into a space and lets you settle with it. There's no demand to respond, perform, or manage someone else's emotional state. For people whose nervous systems spend most of the day anticipating and self-monitoring, this is everything. When someone says, "I don't like dogs," they're too much. They're describing overstimulation. When they say, "I like cats," they're peaceful. They're describing regulation. Cat people aren't choosing distance. They're choosing environments that allow their bodies to downshift, reduce vigilance, and rest without performing. And once you understand this, everything makes sense. The bond cat people feel with cats isn't just calming. It's safe in a way human relationships often aren't. Human relationships are filled with unspoken demands, expectations to respond quickly, to explain feelings, to reassure, to match emotional energy. Even affection comes with pressure. Why aren't you more expressive? Why don't you need me the way I need you? For people who are sensitive, observant, or easily overstimulated, this constant negotiation is exhausting. Cats don't operate that way. A cat never assumes access to you. Its affection is offered, not imposed. When it chooses to sit on your lap, it does so without expectations of conversation, eye contact, or emotional performance. And when it leaves, it doesn't require justification. This mutual respect for boundaries creates something rare, connection without intrusion. Research on cat-human interactions shows that cat lovers aren't avoidant of intimacy. They're avoidant of pressure. They want closeness that unfolds naturally without urgency or demand. Cats model exactly that. They teach through behavior that attachment doesn't require constant proof. With cats, affection must be earned and maintained through attunement. You learn to read subtle signals, a flick of the tail, a shift in posture, a change in breathing. Over time, this builds a relationship rooted in respect rather than control. Consent is central to this dynamic. With cats, affection must be earned and maintained through attunement. And for people who have experienced boundary violations of any kind, this matters deeply. Before thought, before interpretation, before emotion even has a name, there is regulation. And cats have a secret weapon for it. A cat's purr operates at low rhythmic frequencies that your nervous system responds to instinctively. Before you consciously register comfort, your body begins to slow. Your breathing deepens. Muscle tension softens. Stress hormones drop. Low-frequency repetitive sounds signal safety to the brain. They tell your nervous system that nothing urgent is required. No action, no vigilance, just presence. For people who spend most of their lives managing emotional environments, this regulation is rare. Silence can feel empty. Noise can feel overwhelming. But the steady hum of a purr sits perfectly in between. It fills the space without invading it. That's why many cat people describe a sense of grounding that's difficult to explain. They don't feel excited. They feel settled, as if their internal pace has finally matched the world around them. This is co-regulation without conversation. Comfort without performance, and your body learns fast. Once it knows a certain presence brings it back into balance. Attachment follows naturally. Now about that intelligence thing. Yes, research shows cat lovers score higher on cognitive tests, but it's not because cats make you smarter. It's because certain personality traits cluster together. People who are more introverted tend to spend more time in solitary intellectual pursuits, reading, writing, contemplating the existential dread of modern existence, while a cat purr on your keyboard. Denise Costello's research at Carroll University showed this correlation clearly. Cat people scored higher in cognitive abilities and openness to experience, but we also score higher in neuroticism. So basically, we're walking worrying encyclopedias with attachment issues. And somehow we're okay with that. But here's the real reason cats and thinkers go together. Deep thinking requires uninterrupted attention, reflection, creativity, problem solving. They all depend on long stretches of mental quiet. Cats don't interrupt. They coexist alongside focus without demanding it. They don't pull attention outward or require ongoing engagement. Their presence fills a space without fragmenting it. This is why so many writers, artists, and thinkers have gravitated toward cats. Not because cats make people smarter, but because they protect the conditions intelligence needs to function. Modern culture treats solitude as something to fix. Quiet is framed as loneliness. But for cat people, quiet is where clarity forms. There's a biological reason a cat, an efficient solitary predator, can make you feel an almost irrational urge to protect it. Your brain responds to what ethologists call the baby schema. Large eyes relative to the face, a rounded head, a small nose, soft movements. When your brain detects these features, it releases caretaking impulses before conscious thought intervenes. Domestic cats match this pattern remarkably well. When a cat looks up at you, your brain registers infant, not hunter. For many cat people, this dynamic feels safe because it's one-directional without being emotionally demanding. Caring flows outward without the expectation of constant reciprocity. The cat doesn't ask you to be cheerful. It doesn't require reassurance. It doesn't monitor your mood. For people who learn to be emotionally contained early, nurturing something that doesn't intrude can feel easier than receiving it. Nurturing something that doesn't intrude allows closeness without vulnerability overload. But perhaps the most profound thing about cat people is this. This wasn't really about cats. It was about the kind of nervous system you have and the kind of world it feels safest in. If you're drawn to cats, it doesn't mean you're distant or disconnected. It means you're wired for subtlety, for presence without pressure, for connection that doesn't demand constant output. Cats don't ask you to perform. They don't test your loyalty. They don't confuse intensity with intimacy. They simply exist with you. And for some people, that quiet companionship is exactly what they need to feel human again. We love creatures that don't need us. And that's revolutionary. In a culture obsessed with being needed and essential, cat people have chosen differently. We've chosen to love something that stays not out of dependency, but out of preference. So, the next time your cat ignores you for 6 hours and then demands immediate attention, remember you're not just a cat owner. You're someone whose nervous system found exactly what it needed to function without overload. Your cat didn't just choose you. Your body chose your cat. If this hit home for you, please subscribe. And if you want to support these deep dives, hit that join button to become a channel member. I would genuinely appreciate your